Hello friends, welcome back to another video of tips and tricks. So in this video we are going to see Ansible. So what Ansible is, probably you would be knowing already. It is a open source automation software which is owned by Red Hat, and now Red Hat is owned by IBM. So IBM Red Hat. And Ansible has got a lot of popularity in recent years because it is a agentless automation software. That means you don't have to install any agent on your remote systems where you want to work with the Ansible, and it is platform independent too. So you can even use Ansible to make it work with Windows. I mean, apart from the Unix flavor, so it works with Red Hat, Ubuntu, all the Unix flavors, as well as it can work with Windows. So that is why it is gaining a lot of popularity and is grabbing more and more market in IT, right? So Ansible, like I just told, is open source and free to use software, but there are some components of Ansible which needs licensing and you have to pay if you want to use them. And that kind of one component or service is Ansible Tower. So what Ansible Tower is, it is kind of a GUI tool to manage your servers and to do the automation from the GUI itself. But like I said, it is a licensed service and you have to pay for it. But there is no license if you want to use Ansible through a control node. And what control node is? The control node is where you install Ansible software and you run commands from that server manually on your remote servers or wherever you want to. So that is what we are gonna see in this video, that how to install Ansible on a Ubuntu server and make it your control node. Okay, so let's start. So I'm here on one of my servers. Let me switch to root. Okay, Ansible has pretty good documentation about everything, and if you go to the Ansible documentation and see how to install Ansible on Ubuntu, you would see that they are suggesting you run apt update first. So what they exactly want, they want you to upgrade your machine to the latest security patches and latest packages, so that if there is any dependent packages like Python, that is upgraded on your machine before you install Ansible. So what they suggest you run apt update. So if I run that command here, it is trying to see what are the packages available, right? So let it complete. So there you go. So it is saying 13 packages can be upgraded on my machine. And if I run this command app list upgradable, it will show me what are the packages it has to be updated. So if you see here, right? So there are some libraries of Python. There is Python version which can be upgraded. And for this very reason, Ansible suggests that you upgrade your machine, you update your machine before installing the Ansible. So let's do the upgrade. And if you want to see more on the package management and upgrade, you can go with my Ubuntu package management video. So I'll let it install whatever it has to update. Okay, so after the upgrade, I rebooted my machine because along with the Python packages, it had some of the kernel packages, and after the kernel packages, it is always recommended to reboot, right? And I'm logged back in. So let's now install the Ansible package on the server. But before we install the package, we need to add a repository for Ansible on the server to install it, right? So let's see a package if that is available on the server, and the package is software properties common. So what this package is, if you see the description, manage the repositories that you install software from, right? So this is already installed. So this package is needed to install, add, or remove any of the repositories on Ubuntu. Okay, so this is already installed by default. So now let's add the Ansible repository. So the command to add repository is this, add repository, and we are giving the confirmation and we are saying update the repository with this PPA Ansible. Okay, so let's hit enter. Okay, it's saying must run from root, so I have now switched to root. So let's use sudo, and let me give the password. There you go. Okay, so now the repository is added. Now we should be able to install the Ansible package. So let's install Ansible. There you go. So now it is installing Ansible. And if you see here, along with Ansible, it is installing some of the Python packages too. Because Ansible runs on Python, it uses YAML language. So all these packages are required for Ansible to run. Okay, so let's hit yes and let it install Ansible. Okay, so Ansible is installed now. So let's quickly verify it is installed. So we can run Ansible hyphen hyphen version to see the version of Ansible installed on the server. So there you go. If you see, it says 2.9.11 version of Ansible is installed, and this is the configuration file. This is the Python version it is gonna use, and all that, right? So now we know Ansible is installed. So let's quickly run couple of very basic commands for the Ansible to see how it works. Okay, so let's see the file etc ansible host. So this is the file which contains the servers where you want to run the commands, the remote servers where you want to run the commands. So if you see right now, everything is commented, right? So you need to add the hosts or the servers in this file where you want to run the command. So let's do that. So because it is an etc, I have to use sudo. So I'll use just sudo vi to modify this file, and I'll add the servers here. So let me add Ubuntu -01 and Ubuntu -03, my both of the servers, other servers. Okay, so now this is done. So in Ansible, the simple command to verify the inventory is Ansible inventory. So you can run the command Ansible inventory, and you can run -list. So it will list the inventory of your servers. Okay, so now if you see here, it is showing you the servers from etc Ansible host. So if you see here, it is all, and it has a subset children, and it has a subset ungrouped. So the servers which we added, we did not add it to a specific group, rather just ungrouped. So it is part of ungrouped, and eventually it is subset of all. Okay, so let's run a simple command with Ansible now. So Ansible command is just Ansible, and all, like I said, our servers which we added is subset of all, so we'll use all. And let's do the -m and ping. So what it does, ping module, right? So -m stands for module, and it is going to run the ping on those servers which we just add in etc Ansible host. There you go. So if you see here, the output of ping, it is giving me pong, right? So that's what it was expected to do. And here in ping, it is giving you a warning that it should be using Python 3, but you are not using Python 3, right? So that is something we can fix too. But before we see that, let's see another command we can run from Ansible. So we just used -m option, which is for module. Let's see -a option, which is for running the command. So let's run the command uname -r. Okay, so we are remotely running a command on a couple of other servers, Ubuntu 03 and Ubuntu 01, to check their kernel version. Okay, so if you see here, it is showing me the kernel version for both of the servers. One is on 011, and other one is on dot 012, 112, right? And now let's look at the warning. So this is not something I wanted to show in tips and tricks, but because it is throwing you the error here, so let me show you how we can get rid of that. Okay, so let's see if we actually have the Python 3 package, because if you remember from the install, it was having Python 3 package when we upgraded the OS, right? So let's run dpkg-l Python 3 and see. So if you see here, yes, Python 3 is installed, but it is still complaining, right? So if you see the Ansible hyphen version command which we ran, right? So if you see here, So the Ansible is not reading this Python 3. It is looking for this path. So we can define it to use Python 3. And how we can do that? Let's quickly see that. So the same command which I ran here with uname -r, we can do this -e this. Okay, so I am just giving Ansible Python interpreter use user bin Python 3. Don't use 2.7. Okay, so let's run it and see if it is still complaining about the Python. No, right? So it simply gave you a very nice output of uname -r without any errors, without any warnings. So this is the way you can do it. And the other way, if you see in the output itself, it says that you can simply add deprecation warning to the false in ansible.cfg. But I do not recommend adding that, because if there is something which is getting deprecated, you want to correct it, right? Otherwise, your playbook or your commands may fail, not now, but in future. That's why Ansible says all these warnings or displays all these warnings when you run your Ansible commands or the playbook, right? So this interpreter thing, you can change it in the command like we just did here. But if you're running the playbook, you can do that too. But I'm not going to show this here now, probably in next video. So that was all I wanted to show you in this video, how to set up quickly your control node for our Ansible to run remote commands. So that was all. Thank you for watching.